Hello? How are you guys doing? Okay, I'm like fixing this whole like camera thing. I pulled in here to fix it. I was gonna go get a fountain pop, but I think I may wait till I have the sunroof open. It is a beautiful evening tonight, you guys. It is like 77. It's a little warm, but it's breezy, and so it's like, oh my God, look, I have to show you guys this. So this is where Tanya and I get all of our flowers in the summer and in the fall. And I don't know if I can, I don't wanna, if you can see, they have a bunch of mums over there right now. Look at those mums, they're like huge. Well, it's not focusing in, so. But anyway, Tanya said they're really good price. So I'm gonna go over there maybe tomorrow or the next day and go check out their mums for a front walk. Because we're gonna clean up our front walk this weekend, get it all fallish. And yeah, I'm excited about that. So I have the sunroof open, so if the lights come through and stuff, I apologize. Okay. I need a fountain pop. I don't have any cash though. So I'll just wait. But I do feel like I need something to drink. I wish I had to. Tanya put some change in here. Well, I'll just go to McDonald's, and if I have to use a credit card, and I'll just have to use a credit card, I guess. I just don't like to put, I don't like to put fountain pops on credit cards. I just think it's such a waste of money. Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? Today has been a fantastic day for me. Like when I went to bed last night, I was like, tomorrow's gonna be a great day. And I did like a lot of positive affirmations last night before I went to bed, and I finished Chamber of Secrets, which was fantastic. I loved it. It's like hard for, like when people are saying it's like, what's your favorite movies? I mean, I've only seen 2 of them, but I think like both of them that I've seen have been really good, and I liked different things about them. They're a little different than the books, though. Just a little. I mean, there's always just like a little bit off that's different than the books. But I'm loving them, and I'm like listening to Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban right now. I could probably finish it if I wanted to stay up super late tonight, but I don't want to because I want to get a good night's sleep. So I'm going to vlog and then listen to like an hour of it and then go to sleep. But yeah, I got up today and I just was like, I just felt fantastic. And, you know, I've talked a lot about this on my Peterson's channel, but I haven't really practiced it the last couple days. The last couple days, I've like literally like woken up and just like taken right to the phone. I have my phone plugged in right now. And that hasn't been like super healthy for me the last couple days. So today I woke up and I took the dogs outside and I grabbed 2 of my meditation books, Codependent No More, The Language of Letting Go, and I can't remember what the other one is called, but I talked about it on my Peterson's channel. And then I sat in the grass while the dogs were like walking around. It was so beautiful today. It was a little toasty. It was a little warm, but I sat in the grass and I said my prayers and I like did my positive affirmations and did a gratitude list like in my head. I just like went through all the things that I'm grateful for and sat there for a couple minutes. When I talk about positive affirmations, that just for me is talking about like positive things in my life, and so like gratitude is part of that. So I sat there and I talked about gratitude. I did my gratitude list in my head, and then I read the meditation books, and I just like in one of the meditations oh, I know what book it was, the Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone. It was about like basically like not questioning when you're having a great day. And like I woke up and I was just so incredibly like peaceful and calm, and I was just like, you know what, today is gonna be a good day. And so I went and I got a coffee at Starbucks, and I drove around for a little bit and just kind of like in silence for a little bit, and then I listened to some music. And then I came back home and I took a shower and I filmed my videos. I did a really long Q&A. It was like 42 minutes. So if you guys want to, if you don't usually watch my drama channel, I did a Q&A over there. It's very different than what I typically do on that channel. It's like 42 minutes. It was long. It was really long. And I actually talked about things that I talk about on this channel. So, and then I filmed a Peterisms video. And then we have marriage counseling tonight. So it's usually at 6, but it was at 7 tonight. which meant I couldn't go to my meeting because my meeting is at 8 o'clock with Tanya on Tuesday nights. So I, instead, afterwards, we had a great session tonight at Marriage Council. It was really good. We actually talked about like all the progress we've made since we've been going. Excuse me. And then afterwards, we went to Basbo's Pizza, which is like this local pizza place. And we went with Melissa and Jason. And we try to do like a double date with them like once a week. So that was fun. I was real excited about that. And we went out to dinner with them and sat outside. It was beautiful. We sat outside, and our waiter was actually this guy that I know from sobriety. And so he and I were talking about like meetings and stuff. And he's real good friends with my sponsor. And so I had a house salad, and then I had with ranch dressing because I'm from Indiana. But you know what, I said that the last time, a lot of people in California really liked ranch dressing too, so maybe it's not just a Midwest thing. When I was a little kid, I was like, and I would not eat this now in a million years, I was obsessed with that like Catalina dressing, like I loved it. I could not, we went somewhere recently, I think it was like a wedding, and like their two options were like vinaigrette and like Catalina, and they just put that down in front of me, and I was like, I can't do this. Sometimes, like, and I can't really do Thousand Island dressing either, although it reminds me of Big Mac sauce, which I love. But I love to put my fries in Big Mac sauce, but I don't like Thousand Island dressing on other stuff. So I just don't. I don't know why. I used to hate blue cheese dressing, and now I love blue cheese dressing. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with wedge salads. I love wedge salads, but with no bacon on it. Somewhere we went recently, I got a wedge salad, and it had Ritz crackers crunched on top of it, and it was kind of weird. I didn't really love it, honestly. Where was that we went? Where I got a wedge, where did I go and I got a wedge salad and it had the Ritz crackers? God, I can't even think now. Oh, it was when Tanya and I went to that Woofie's place. Hold on a second, I want to count my change. I'm trying to use all my change before I go through McDonald's. And then I have a quarter over there, my lord. And then after that, we were gonna go to Insomnia Cookies, but we didn't end up doing that. And I talked to Melissa about, oh my God, and 2 dimes? I talked to Melissa about my idea for the podcast. Okay, so you guys, are you ready? What Melissa and I are gonna maybe do. I don't know if it'll work yet. I have to like really look into figuring out how to do it. But we're thinking about, this will be the podcast. Now, I was gonna do it in a video, but I think I'm gonna do it as a podcast. Hold on. Let me count, let's change out really quick, hold on. 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 70. I ain't got my glasses on, I can't do math. 80. 90. $1. Oh my God, I'm so close. I'll probably come down here and I'll be like, there's another, I'll save that dime for another time. $1.05, $1.06, $1.07, and $1.08. Do you guys look? I have little leave. I have this like identity bracelet that I've had forever. I have some Spice Bomb in here. And then I have one Pepto-Bismol thing because that one night that I got it. I found another, is that another dime? No. Tanya takes her change and literally just like throws it down in here, and so, well, and then I have my like wallet and all this stuff. And I got my both headlights replaced today, and why did they give me this? Is this like the old headlight? What did they do? They gave me like this, so I don't know if it like came in a package of 3 or, ow, that hurt. I can't tell if this is like the new headlight or the dead headlight. I think that's the dead one. I think maybe he just gave it to me to let me know like what I needed to order in the future, maybe. You think? I don't know. Anyway, So yeah, so we did Basbo's. Alex had a cheese pizza and a salad. He had a Greek salad. And then Melissa had, I think, a house salad. Or she had a Greek salad. And Jason had a house salad with vinaigrette. And then Jason and Melissa got a pizza that's called the Colossal. And yeah, it was fun. We were like swapping stories about Vegas because we got back on Monday and they left for Vegas on Tuesday. So they were talking all about all kinds of stuff. It was fun. We had a really good time. And Melissa and I talked about the podcast. Okay, hold on a second. Let me order this.
How can I help you?
Can I get a large Diet Coke, please?
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, 108%.
So I told Melissa, I said, I want to do this podcast. And she's like, oh, just us talking and whatever. And I said, yeah. And I'm going to put this over this way in case these people don't want to be on camera. And she was like, yeah. And I said, okay, but you know what would be really fun? Maybe the week of Halloween, if I could put out 2, but I don't know how I would do it, is if we got the script to Halloween, because we love that movie. It's like both our favorite movies. Halloween movies, scary movies, horror movies. And then we got like 4 or 5 friends together and we read the parts. Oh my God, would that not be so fun? So she's like totally down to do that. Okay, now, you guys want to hear an exclusive? Are you ready for the exclusive? Okay. So, Abby from the Poorhouse Candle Company.
Large Diet Coke?
Yep.
108.
How are you? I got all changed. Don't kill me.
You're fine.
Okay. I think it's right.
You said large Coke? Anything else? Yes. Warm it up. Yeah. You said blueberry muffin? Alright, anything else? It'll be 193, first one to 350.
Okay, it's right.
It's right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So we were talking about like even if... Thank you. That was perfection. I just kept on driving. He put it right out the window. I lived. Okay. That was so much fun. Can I do it again? God, it's the simple things in life. So anyway, I'm so silly. Okay, so we were talking about it being like Melissa and Aaron and I, because we don't think that we could get anybody else to do it. I know my husband would probably think it was totally a snooze fest. He would be like so bored. So we were thinking about doing it. My hands are so grimy from all of that change. Tanya, Jean, I never have change in there. That's Tanya. That's all her change. She's like, here, you can use it for fountain pops, and that's what I use it for. But anyway, now oh, it smells like that ocean in here. It's not bad, but it's not like you want it right up in your face. Okay. So we were talking about like which parts we would play, and Melissa was like, well, of course I get Laurie Strode. And I was like, of course you get Laurie Strode, right? Laurie Strode is, what do you call it? What's her face? Jamie Lee Curtis. And she's like, and Aaron could be Annie. And I go, I want to be Annie. That's not fair. Annie's got one of the best roles in the whole movie. I wish I had you all alone. Just the 2 of us. I said, Aaron can be PJ Souls. Totally. So anyway, oh, the exclusive. I didn't tell you guys the exclusive. The exclusive, yes. The exclusive. Okay. The exclusive is that Abby and I from the Poorhouse Candle Company who has the other 2 Peter Monn candles, have been working on putting together a charity candle. And so, since I love dogs so much, obviously, and Melissa is the president of, my nose is driving me crazy. I feel like, I was like, give her to do a booger check. Okay. So anyway, I can't believe I just said that on camera, but that's the true thing. When you're a YouTuber, you do have to do it. Okay, so anyway, since Melissa is the area president for animal rescue, which is national. It's a national rescue, but each state has their own chapter. So she's the president of the local chapter. And I'll talk more about it when we have it all finalized. We don't yet. So Abby and I have been talking about coming up with a candle, okay, for the 100% of the proceeds would go to this national charity, or the local chapter of the national charity. And so, are you guys ready for the candle? Who do you think deserves his own candle? So the candle's either going to be PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend, or it's going to be PP the Flying Chihuahua. But I actually think that like PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend will be better, and I don't know what the smells would be. She's like, yeah, but what do I do for the smells? I don't know, but I was like, I don't care. PP just needs his own candle. But then it makes me sad because I'm like, well, PP, I don't know how long he'll be here. He was real lethargic today. Like, not lethargic in a bad way, but like he just kind of laid around all day long. And then, like, after we went to go get pizza and stuff, and we came home, and Tanya texted me, and she was like, do you want to go to Meijer? So I was like, okay, let's go to Meijer. So I came in, and I hadn't put up my Peter Residence video yet, because it was like uploading when I left to go to marriage counseling. So I came in, that's why it went up so late. And I like published it. That's what it's called. You just hit publish on YouTube. And I published it, and Melissa gave me the nicest compliment tonight. She was like, you look like you've lost weight. I was like, I've lost like 10 plus pounds. I'm wavering between like 10 and 15 right now. So anyway, and I only ate half my sandwich and all of my salad. I took the rest of my sandwich home, but I probably won't eat it. I've been trying to like eat smaller portions when I go out to eat and not like the whole thing. So, so I came home. Well, Alex was taking the dogs out back, and our neighbor was out there with her dog, and the dogs went crazy, and all of a sudden, PP was completely fine. He was totally energetic, probably because he had slept the entire day, and he was running around the kitchen, and running around outside, and barking with the other dogs. They're all of them losing their minds. So, excuse me. And then I went and picked up Tanya, and she was like, I'm so tired. I'm like, well, why do you want to go to Meijer then? And she's like, because I've got to get stuff. So we went to Meijer, and she got a car. I didn't buy one thing at Meijer. And we walked around, and we looked at everything. Oh my God, you guys, they have candy corn M&Ms. I'm going to have to get those. So we walked around, and she got a bunch of stuff, and we looked at all the as seen on TV stuff for, I wonder if there's like a store around here that has all of it. I'd like to try all of it. I mean, not all of it, but I'd like to go into a store and see what they have. Tanya was like going through, she's like, well, I know this works, and I know that works. She's like, I said, you were just the expert of as seen on TV. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Well, you guys know how much I love, what do you call it? Gatlinburg. Oh my God, I might have to just schedule a weekend for Tanya and I to go to Gatlinburg and use that as an excuse for, or maybe like 2 days through the week, and use that as an excuse, use the review channel as an excuse to go down there, because they have Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is like right before Gatlinburg, has all of those as seen on TV stores. So maybe close for the time, we'll do that. Oh my God, that would be so fun. Start looking into that tomorrow. See how much it would be for us just to get a cabin for 2 nights. I don't know, Alex might want to do that too. Maybe Alex and Tanya and Eric and I could all go down there. That would be fun. And just go out to dinner and, like, you know, watch movies and stuff. Tanya and I have taken a lot of trips with people, but we've never, I don't know that we've ever taken a trip just the 2 of us. Just the 2 of us. Have we? Now I'm feeling like maybe we have. Just the 2 of us. So yeah, so Tanya and I, we walked around Meijer for like an hour. And it's early, you guys, for me to vlog. It is 12:04 a.m., which is super early for me. And I trimmed my beard today. I used all kind of smell good products in the shower. I just refer to them as smell good products now. And read a little bit, listened to my audiobook. just the two of us. Do you know that song from Halloween, if you've ever seen it? So, like, Melissa, a couple years ago, I think it was 2 or maybe 3 years ago, when they had the horror festival here in Indianapolis, she went and she, like, did the VIP, where you had to, like, you got to sit in a room and, like, listen to Jamie Lee Curtis and the cast of Halloween talk about it and stuff. And if you've ever seen the movie and you love it as much as I do, there's a part in there where Annie, she, I can't remember what her name is, but she was actually one of the producers on the film too. She sings this song, and it's also where she goes, like that in the car, and then he, like, that's when he kills her. But she sings this song, and she goes, I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us. Okay, that song is totally made up. It's not a real song. And can I tell you, for how many years before Melissa told me that I tried to find out what that song was called? Do you remember back in the day, if you're as old as... if you're as old as me, you would hear like a song on the radio that you were obsessed with, and you would like write down some of the words, but the words would always be kind of wrong. And then you would like go into a record store. Yeah, we called them record stores back in the day. And you would go into this record store, and then they would, and the people that worked in there, like, I was always intimidated by them because they were always like so artsy and knew so much about music and stuff like that. The whole world of retail has kind of changed, hasn't it? It's like certain, you know, like, if you went into some store, like, I don't know, I was always just intimidated by people that worked in stores, but I would go to these record stores, you know, and I'd be like, do you have, I don't know who the band is, but it's that song, and it's like, Caroline laughed, and she smiled, and then they just look at me and they go, huh? And I go, you know that song? And my friends would be sitting there and they'd be like, just sing it to him, Peter. And I'd be like, because they'd just egg me on, and I'd be like, no, this is when I was in high school. And then they'd be like, what song? And I would say, you know, it's like got Caroline in it, and it talks about this song, it's got the color pink in it. And they'd be like, huh? Caroline laughs and she smiles and she says, is it rain? I don't even know the words to Pretty in Pink anymore, but I used to back in the day. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you would go in there and you would sing like the song. And then you would tape songs. Okay, if you're truly as old as me, this is before high school, we would like wait for songs to come on the radio to tape, to record them, so that then we could play them later. And I have this friend of mine, she cracks me up. Okay, I mean, like, I literally, like, I would love to tell the whole story the way that she tells it, but I don't even know how to do it, and it's so hilarious. She talks about how, like, because we went to different high schools, and she went to high school with my cousin, and she's like, when I was like in 6th and 7th grade, I was so lonely, I had no friends. It's so sad because it's so totally my story too, and we bonded over not having any friends in junior high. But this is so funny what she'd say, and I'd say, well, like, what did you do? Because she said to me one night, she's like, well, what did you do on the weekends? And I said, I just hung out with my mom. We like watched movies and stuff like that, right? And I said, what'd you do? And she said, I just lay in my bedroom and I would hold my pillow and I would act like I was making out with my boyfriend, and I would listen to late night love songs, and I would just cry myself to sleep. I was like, oh my God, how tragic. I said, you did not truly do that. She's like, yeah, I did. I would hold my pillow and like act like it was my boyfriend. I was so sad I didn't have any friends. I just wanted to go out on a date. And then I was like, well, what happened? She goes, 9th grade, and then I started hanging out with a bunch of people, and I started smoking pot, and I got popular. Do you remember, like, when you're in high school and you like say like in 7th, well now it's probably a lot younger than this, but when I was in high school, like in 7th or 8th grade, you say like, we'll never do drugs. Oh, it's gonna stop, hold on. You say like in 7th or 8th grade, like that summer, and you say, you have like this, like I had this group of like two girls, there's 3 of us, and we were like best friends in like 6th grade, right? And we like swore like we were never gonna drink, we were never gonna do drugs, we were never gonna have sex, none of this stuff, right? And then like 6th grade happened. That was the summer after 6th grade actually. And then 7th grade happened and they lost their minds. That's the truth of the nature all day long. They just did. And then we weren't friends anymore in 7th grade, and then I had no friends at all. And each of them went kind of separate ways, and one of them got really athletic, and she had like all of these friends. And then my other friend, she had like a whole different group of friends, and they would like, it was very Breakfast Club. It was very sad. Like, you know, this whole year we just like, every day we hung out together. Every day that summer and after 6th grade, every day we hung out together, the 3 of us, you know. went to water parks and all this kind of stuff. I think all of the moms, my mom included at that point, probably had a clue I was gay, because I can remember it was never an issue for me to sleep over at these girls' houses. We were doing like face masks and stuff. But anyway, it was like one of the greatest summers of my life, and we had so much fun. And I remember like 7th grade started, and I kind of thought it would just be that, you know? And then it was like, my one friend, she was like real involved in like track and stuff and cross country, and so she started practicing and hanging out with a different crew. And then my other friend was real involved in like musical stuff, so she started doing that, and she hung out with a different crew, and it was just me, and I didn't have any friends, like, you know, none. That was probably actually, like, you know, when I was in high school, like the second half of my sophomore year, my junior year, my senior year, like, I don't really need their conversation in my vlog, to be real honest with you. They like pulled up right next to me and they're having like this very serious conversation. I know that's so rude. They're probably like, he is so rude. He just like rolled up his window on us. I mean, like, what am I supposed to say? Do you guys really want your conversation in my vlog? But anyway, the second half of my, okay, so I was friends with these girls like in 8th and 9th grade, like kind of. And then my friend, like I was like acquaintances with them. Like I would kind of like sit with them at lunch sometimes and stuff like that. And then my one friend that I I was friends with like kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school. We went to undergrad together and graduate school. Like she was one of my like ride or dies in high school. But like we were always in classes together growing up, but I wouldn't say that we were real close friends. And then like in 9th grade, like I started sitting with them at lunch, like in 9th grade. But it wasn't until the following year that I started hanging out with them. And then there was like one night when they all asked me to go out with them, and I did, and like it kind of changed after that. I started going out with them. But like 7th and 8th grade, and 9th grade too, like other than lunch, I mean, like I would sit with them and they would just like, even though like they were friendly to me, they would kind of tease me too. They used to do this thing where they would say like, they would ask me if I liked certain bands, and then they would like look at stuff on the table, and they would be like, do you like the band Orange on the Table? And I'd be like, oh yeah, that's such a great band. Because I just, you know, I just wanted to fit in, you know? And then they'd be like, do you like that band Lunch Lady in the corner? And I'd be like, oh, they're so good. And then later they were like, we were making up all those bands, and I just wanted to have somebody, you know? I just wanted to fit in with somebody and have somebody. So after my friends and I kind of, well, we didn't go our separate ways, they went their separate ways. And it's so funny because this one girl, like I know her, she and I are both in sobriety now. She's been sober for like, I don't know, 18 or 19 years, and we see each other all the time. We're totally cool with each other now. And she's always like, this is what kills me. She's always like, what happened to our friendship? And I'm like, yeah, you like totally got a new group of friends and forgot that I even existed. Like, that's what happened, honestly. But okay, and she's like, and then one time I kind of said it to her just like that. She's like, no, I don't really think that's it. I think it's interesting how people conveniently remember things the way they want to, you know? So anyway, that was 7th grade, that I was completely pretty much just all alone. I did this acting class for a while downtown that I was involved in, and I had like one friend in that I went to school with as well. But other than him, like then I did, and then 8th grade, I really had nobody. I mean, literally nobody in 8th grade. And then like, I remember though, this is weird, I don't know why this is the first thing that comes to my head. I just remember seeing this English class. I think that was like I always kind of knew like I had crushes and stuff on guys, but like that was the first year, I don't know, maybe that was like when hormones kicked in or something, but like that was like the first year that like I really, really had a crush. And this is so strange, but it was this guy that was like, I mean, I had a crush on him like kind of like all through high school. I always kind of like watch what he was doing. And he just is so, like, I don't know what it was about him. It was, like, nothing, like, about him. I don't know what it was. I honestly don't. But he sat, like, diagonal from me in English class. and he was one of the football players, and oh my God, I just would sit there and like, we would be like in English class and I would be like this, just like staring at him. You know, now that I'm like out and stuff like that, I wonder if like, I'm so far off these people's radars. I wonder if some of these people that I had crushes on in high school, like I wonder if they ever knew, you know? The other people that came out, like after I did, I wasn't out in high school. So a lot of people think that I went to high school with, they thought that I was out. Like they later like thanked me. They were like, I'd see them out like at a bar or something. They'd be like, I just came out. Like they'd be like seniors in college and they'd be like, oh, I just came out. Thank you so much for being out in high school. It made it so much easier for me. And I was like, I wasn't out in high school. I had a girlfriend. Yes, she's a lesbian now, but I had a girlfriend in high school. So anyway, but like the ones that came out afterwards, like I really, to be honest with you, like I can remember knowing in my head I was gay in high school and thinking like I'm the only one. Like there's literally not any other gay person that I go to high school with. Like I really felt that way. Like, and to be honest with you, like I have the worst gaydar in the entire world. I mean, people all the time are like, well, you're gay, you can probably figure out this. I'm like, no, I don't know. And you know, I mean, things have so switched now. I mean, back in the day, I think that a lot of the stereotypes were based on truth, but I think, you know, I don't know, like, there are so many different types of people in the world today, all different kinds of sexuality on different kinds of levels. I don't know. So, no, I didn't know. But it's funny when I look back on who was, and like, one of them was actually this guy, and he's really successful today too. And like he and his husband, like they're very successful, and then they even bought like this like bed and breakfast somewhere, and like, but that's like not even their main job. They just have that like on the side for fun. Anyway, he and I were always very cool with each other in high school. I never got that vibe from him, not once. And he's not super masculine or anything. He's just very, like, just average acting. I don't know what. I mean, he was never on my radar, but we were actually really good friends in elementary school. And so he was always very kind to me as he got older. And, you know, he said to me, like, when I saw him at the reunion, he said, I always felt bad for you in high school. And I was like, why? And he was involved in drama and stuff. And he was like, because there was like 3 of us that were out to each other and you were all alone. And they were like out to each other, right? And he was like, and you were all by yourself. And he was like, but we knew like to bring you in would have brought attention to you. Like this is so calculated. And he was like, but to befriend you would have brought attention to us. And he was like, and your friend group was so different. Like you guys were so punk rock. And I'm like, so I would have had other people that understood where I was coming from. Okay, so anyway, but I was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's been 20 years. My life was a living hell back then. I could hardly get through a day. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, could always make people's lives easier, you know. It's just, do we choose to do that or not? It was so funny the other day, somebody direct messaged me and they were like, I live in Indianapolis and I know exactly where you're driving in your vlog. And I was like, okay. They're like, when you stop, like I know exactly what stop you're at because I live right over there. And I just passed where they told me they lived. And I'm like, oh, so you live right over there. So hi, you know who you are. But anyway, I don't even know how I got on that topic. How did I get on that topic of high school? Oh, just like, you know, 7th and 8th grade were very, very lonely. And then 9th grade was lonely too. But I did have, you know, I sat at lunch with those girls. And then I continued to sit in lunch with those girls in 10th grade. And then, like, my one friend that I knew, and the only reason I did, okay, so this is the story. So the girl that I was friends with all the way through, okay? she was just like super kind to me, and she was like, I would just literally come into the cafeteria and I'd be like, can I sit with you guys? And she'd be like, yeah, sure. And then like she had like a best friend that we had also gone to elementary school with, but like I wasn't very close with. I didn't know her real well. I mean, she ended up becoming one of my good friends in high school, but like at that point, like I didn't really know her very well. And then we had a friend of ours that like they met in junior high, and they couldn't really decide whether or not, or she couldn't really decide. She's still a friend of mine today, so funny. She couldn't really decide if she wanted to be like a badass or popular. You know what I mean? Did you ever know somebody like that? Like she couldn't decide if she wanted to be a badass. Like so on weekends, she was all about being a badass, but during the school week, she like wanted teachers to respect her and stuff. You know who you are. If you watch my vlog, I love you. I don't know, she might watch my vlog. She watches a lot of my videos. And then I had two best friends that were twins. And one year in high school, my junior year, I was like best friends with one of them. And then my senior year, I was best friends with the other one. So it was them. And then they kind of just like welcomed me into the group, you know? And because of my one friend that I had known since kindergarten and or element, you know, kindergarten. And so anyway, and then we were friends all through high school, and then after high school, they all went away to different places, and my friend and I had known each other since elementary school. We were the only ones to stay here, so we went to school together, and we became super close. Like our first year, well, there was like there was another girl that we became friends with, and she lives like 2 minutes from me, and I'm still real close with her too. I mean, I'm not super close with any of the friends that I had in high school. Like, I don't really ever talk to them very often, but like if I picked up the phone tomorrow and called them, it would be like no time had passed. Do you know what I mean? And we, you know, text each other every once in a while, but we never see each other really. It's 2 years away from my high school reunion. Somebody just put that on Facebook. So anyway, this other girl that we were friends with in high school, like our junior, senior year, she and the girl that I had known, I don't want to say their names because I don't know if they want to just be like, you know, anonymous or whatever. So, they live pretty private lives. But she and the girl that I went to high school with and myself, the three of us became very, very good friends. We were going to Chicago all the time, partying, going to clubs. We had so much fun. Well, she ended up going to IU for a semester in Bloomington, and then she moved back, and the three of us ended up going to school here in Indianapolis. And so then we became super close in undergraduate, and then my friend and I, we both actually went to graduate school together too. We went in the same program. So, yeah, it's just weird. And I don't know, it's weird how things happen. And like, I'm so, excuse my language, but like fucking thankful for those girls. Like, they saved my ass. Like, if they had never just like let me sit there and eat lunch with them, and I'll never forget the day that they were just like looked at me and they were like, hey, we're gonna go hang out tonight, we're gonna go downtown, do you wanna go? And I was kind of worried that my mom would say no, because my friend, she started driving that year, and so she had a car that whole year, and I was like, well, let me ask my mom. And now you have to understand, my mom's impression of this girl was who she was in first grade, right? So my mom, of course, loved her. My mom loved all of my friends. And she was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, I remember, I never really had a curfew. Like, I think I did. It was like 11 and 1 or something like that. Like 11 during the week and 1 on the weekends. But, like, my parents could care less if I was, like, stuck to my curfew. They just really didn't. And so, I remember that was the night, and I've told this story on here before, but like a bunch of us, it was like all of them, and then like even more. Like there was like this girl that I actually became very, very good friends with that was like a year older, and then a girl that like was one of my diehard best friends in high school that was a year younger. She's the one that lives in Portland. She's probably the one I talk to the most still. Anyway, there was a whole crew of us, and we all went downtown, actually, not in my friend's car that was driving, but in this other girl that we knew that was friends with this other, they all knew each other through choir. And so we went downtown, and we walked around, and we went in the Hilton. We went on top of the Hilton. We were smoking cigarettes, clove cigarettes, and singing to music. And I remember on the way back, it was like we were in one of those old station wagons, you know, where the back faces like as you're driving away. And it was like me and two of my friends, and we were sitting there, and our friend that was driving, she and I we were never really that close. I think when I was a sophomore, she was a senior, so I don't think I ever got that close with her. But they were playing American Pie, and it was like the one song that we all knew, and we're sitting there like blasting. It's like, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. And I still to this day love that song, and every time I hear it, it reminds me of that night. And I just felt so connected, and I remember that that was it. And then like after that, I was just part of that group, you know, and they saved my ass. Honest to God, I don't know that I would be here right now if it wasn't for those 5 girls. I really, and not just because they protected me from bullying in high school, because sometimes they did and sometimes they couldn't, but just because there was like a group that I was part of. I felt a part of something in high school, you know, and that was something that I really had never felt up to that point. I had never really felt like part of something before, you know, so that was important for me. And yeah, it was good. And my one friend that I became friends with like my junior and senior year, like the 3 of us that became friends, she and I were supposed to go to the reunion, and that was when I ended up, she was so mad. She was like, I bought this damn ticket because of you. I didn't even want to go. This is the other friend of mine that I may go to the 20th. She didn't want to go either, but she ended up she was just bitter through the whole thing. If you're watching it, you know you were. But anyway, but my other friend, that was my birthday weekend, and a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to go judge a beauty pageant, and I had never done that before, and I was so excited. And so I called my friend, I said, you are gonna kill me. I said, but I just got an opportunity to go judge a beauty pageant in St. Louis, and I really, really want to do it. And she was like, I said, this is kind of like a bucket list thing for me. And she was like, are you kidding me? I bought this damn ticket because of you. And then the whole weekend she's like texting me pictures of like, they had such a great time. So 2 years from now is my 30th, and I'm definitely going. You gotta go. You gotta go to your reunion. I went to my 10, I went to my 20. Let me tell you something, okay? I was that dude in high school that never went to a school dance, that never went to any games, I never went to any pep rallies, I never participated in shit. I was in orchestra for like a little bit of it, but I wasn't even really like that active. I could hardly even play my stupid violin. So anyway, I was always just sitting in the back, half the time faking it, because I didn't even really know what I was doing. But anyway, so I really never participated in anything, okay? Because I didn't, like, it wasn't cool to be part of high school. It just was not cool back then to like be involved. And I'll tell you, this is interesting, who really changed my perspective on that was, I saw this video years ago from Gigi Gorgeous, and it was when she was like in high school. It's like she was like a senior, and like somebody asked her in like a Q&A or something, they said, you know, like, do you think you should be involved in high school things? And she's like, you've got to. She's like, you're only gonna have one high school experience. Like, experience it all you want, you know, like, get involved, go to things, have fun with it. And, you know, like, I think that what kept me from not going was fear of being ridiculed a lot of times, or not fitting in. And I remember watching that at that time, and this was before Gigi transitioned, and I remember thinking to myself, she goes and she doesn't give a shit, right? And she just wants to go and be part of something and have fun. Like, I allowed my fear of being ridiculed to stop me from having things. And at that point, I'd already gone to my 10-year reunion. But after that, I was like, I'm going to all the reunions. I'm going to do all of that stuff. Like, you know, and it's fun. And and now it's surreal, like, that I'm going to my 30-year reunion. Like, that's surreal to me, you know? I mean, it's just weird. I don't really regret not going to any. I mean, I think I would be a different person. Like, my opinion changes on this a lot, honestly. It really, really does. You know, like, you know when, God, my phone just will not charge at all. Is it not even plugged in right now? Oh, it is. You know, like, if I'm sitting still, it is hot. You know, like, in, what's that movie? Well, Pretty in Pink. When Annie Potts says, like, well, you have to go to prom. She's like, well, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. She's like, yeah, but you have to go, right? Like, I don't feel like I missed out on anything by not going to prom. And I don't feel like I missed out on anything by not going to homecoming. Like, I don't feel like my life isn't complete because I didn't go. I'm like hiccuping like crazy. Like, or belching. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like, maybe, and I don't think that one prom or one homecoming would have changed it, or one school dance. Like, I mean to tell you, I didn't even go to school dances, like, in junior high. Like, at all. Like, I was always, like, so terrified of any of that kind of stuff. And, I'm, like, thinking back. I'm like, did I go to one in 6th grade with those 2 girls? I may have. I think we did. I think the 3 of us went to a school dance. I think that was the last school dance I ever went to with those 2 girls. But, and I think it was like a turnabout dance, and they both asked me, and so I went with them. I don't know. You know, I had friends of mine, girls, that asked me to go to prom my senior year, and I was like, no, I don't want to go. And they were like, no, they were like, if you want to go, I'll take you. And I was like, no, I really don't want to go. And like a group of like 4 or 5 of us, we went out to dinner that night. We were like the anti-prom crew, or senior prom. And we went out to dinner that night, and we went to like the same restaurant that a bunch of our friends were going to, and they were all dressed up. I mean, this is 1990, you guys, okay? This is like the year of the bad hairdo and the bad prom dress. Like, seriously, it's that bad, okay? I mean, big poofy things. And we are sitting there, and I remember this one girl that I was friends with, like, she and I were actually really, really close too. I always, like, I don't know why I always forget her, but she and I were really close, and she had long dark hair, and she was like actually one of my closest friends, like the first part of my senior year. And she and I, and then 2 of my other friends, my friend that lives in Portland now, and this other girl, we, because my friend that lives in Portland was a junior when I was a senior, so she didn't go to senior prom. So we were sitting there, we had decided that we were gonna all wear black, okay? So we're all like in black jeans, black shirts, black t-shirts, and we had like stacked shoes on, you know, like Doc Martens. And I remember we went to the Schaefer's fondue because all of our friends were going there. We used to love it. And you could smoke in there, and we're sitting there smoking closer. We thought we were the answer. We thought we were so cool because we weren't going to prom. We thought we were better than all of that. And then I remember, like, after we went out, like, to dinner, we thought we were so cool because our friends, like, they looked so uncomfortable, like, you know, on their dates and stuff. And I remember afterwards, like, when we left, that friend of mine that I'm talking about, the real dark hair, we were, like, sitting in a car, and, like, my other 2 friends were in the back, and we're, like, sitting there smoking, listening to music, and she turned to me and she goes, so what are we supposed to do now? And I was like, I don't know, what do you want to do? And she's like, I mean, every party is a prom party tonight, so we can't really do that. And I was like, what do you want to do? Yeah, we really proved something with that. So I think, like, going back, like, I think I would be more involved. I cannot believe I'm almost at the end of this already. Oh, it's gonna stop, so hold on a second. Okay, I'm having, like, major camera malfunction. I, like, go to reach to, like, turn it on, and then it turns off. Like, I go to hit to record, and then it, like, turns the whole camera off. So, okay, I think it's good to go now. But anyway, no, like, I think looking back, you know, like, if I knew then what I know now, God, every time I touch that stupid thing, I get, like, that sticky stuff all over me. If I knew then what I know now, I think I would participate. And, I mean, not in everything, maybe. I mean, it's not like I would be, like, going out for every extracurricular and everything like that and be on the football team. I have no idea when I'm watching. My parents, they tried so hard to teach me football, like how to watch it, and I am so clueless. Like, to this day, basketball, I understand. Tennis, I played it for years. There's so many sports that I understand, but skiing, I love. You know, golf, I got it. But, you know, for, like, the one thing I don't get, I cannot understand football. You guys, it is, like, the biggest joke when people invite us over to football parties. My husband, to this day, like, he and my dad were joking about it one day. They were like, Alex is like, how did you, like, not teach Peter, like, football, like, the essentials of football? Because, you know, of course, Alex went to, you know, IU Bloomington, so he went to all the IU games and all that kind of stuff. And my dad's like, Alex, we, like, tried, like, his mom and I tried to teach him. Like, my mother was the biggest college sports fan you have ever seen in your entire life. And I just can't get it. Like, I do not understand it. I need, like, a dummies football. I think I might have had one at some point. I don't know. But I don't understand football. I have tried so hard to understand it. And so I just make jokes. I do things like, touchdown. So, no, I wouldn't have been on the football team. But I do think that maybe I would have gone to some dances. I don't know. You know, like, I just think, like, I would have maybe, I don't think that it would have changed who I am. But I think that, like, maybe it would have made me just feel more part of something, more part of, you know, I remember the last day that I graduated from high school, and it was weird, because, like, you know, I went to the same school, like the same school system for elementary, junior high, and high school. All 12 years. I went to the same school system with the same people. And so, like, you know, most of which I didn't really care much about, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, like, why won't my phone not charge? But I remember that last day of school thinking to myself, I'm never going to see these people again. And it, like, really hadn't hit me till then, you know? Like, I was like, I'm literally never going to see these people again. And now, it's like, it's weird. It's like when you're older and you, like, go to, I don't know, maybe this is just my experience. I'm sure other people feel differently and are like, I could care less. But, like, no matter who you were in high school, no matter if you were, you know, the jock or the nerd or the skater or the artsy person or the gay punk kid that, you know, got made fun of a lot, or whatever you were, you know, like, no matter where you existed in high school, or no stereotype at all, and you were just, hey, here I am, Judy Smith, you know, whatever. It's like later, like, okay, my 10 year was interesting because my 10 year was kind of like everybody just wanted to, like, talk about all their achievements. But my 20 year was totally not like that at all. My 20 year was, like, so laid back. People could give a shit to talk about their lives. They just wanted to see what everybody else was doing. And as you get older, it's like you realize it didn't really matter who you were in high school, you know? But you all shared this common experience of going through this together, this one time, you know, that there's only a set of 600 and so people that I went through 4 years of high school with, you know, from 86 to 90, that are out there that have the exact same experience that I do. That's it. So I will continue to go to my high school reunions, and I'm excited about my 30 year. You know, it's like, because when you look back, you are part of that, whether you wanted to be or not, whether you were resistant to it or not. So, you know, if I could say something to my, you know, 15-year-old, well, not 15, but 16, 17-year-old self today, I'd be like, stop being so resistant. Just, like, go to some of this shit, you know, be part of something. Maybe people, you know, will want to get to know you if you do. I don't know. Like, you know, I don't blame myself for the bullying. I don't blame myself for the shit that happened to me. But I sure as hell wasn't trying to get to know anybody else either, you know? I just really wasn't. And I'm just kind of sad about that. Like, I think in life now, I try to participate in everything. I try to, you know, like, even though my social anxiety keeps me from that, like, I try to just go and just, and when I'm asked to do something, do it, because I want to just have the most fun, you know, in life. And I think that's kind of like it, you know, like, do it. Like, you know what I mean? Live. Life's short. My mom and I had that last conversation. It was between 2 hospital stays, and it was in her bed. And I went over there and I was laying in bed with her, and I knew things were bad, and she knew things were bad. And it was when I said to her, you know, like, why aren't you fighting this? And there was a piece of me, like, my aunt and I kind of thought maybe it was like maybe some psych stuff, because my mom suffered from a lot of psych issues, mental health issues. And they were really finding it hard to, like, they would always just diagnose her with dehydration and then release her home. They couldn't find anything wrong with her until, like, literally she was in a coma. And then they're like, oh, this is what it is. And they had diagnosed it at a different hospital 4 months before, you know? So anyway, it was frustrating. We didn't know what it was. And I remember laying in bed with her, and I said, it was like a beautiful day. It was like this beautiful day outside. And I said, there was this huge tree, because, you know, the condo that I live in now was my mom's condo, and there was this huge tree, and there was, like, the window was open, and it was, like, snowy outside. This would have been, like, I don't know, like, late February, middle of February, and she just kept on looking out the window, and I said, Mom, why aren't you fighting this, you know? And she said, if I knew what it was, I would fight it. She said, I fought my entire life. You think I'm not gonna fight now? She said, I'm not done yet. I'm not ready to go. And when you go through that, it's so surreal, especially, like, I don't know, like, I just wasn't So we had this conversation, and she said to me, she said, you know, I don't know how much longer I have. I think we need to have a conversation about some things, and we did, and we, you know, but the reason I brought that up was because in that conversation, you know, I said to her, do you have any regrets? And she said, you know, when you get to the end of your life and you look back, it's not the things you did that you regret. It's not the mistakes you made. You know, you learn from that as you grow. And she said, you learn to accept that with yourself. She goes, it's not the things you did in your life that you regret, it's the things you never tried. Those are the things that you regret. And I don't know, like, I've always had that in my head. Like, I've always remembered that she said that, you know? And I remember she was, like, looking out at that tree, and we were talking about it, and she's like, you know, I think if she loved this movie called Windy City, and it had this character in there named Saul, and my mom loved this movie. It's a fantastic movie. I haven't watched it since my mom passed away because I just don't know that I can actually handle it. And there's this scene in it and Saul's like real sick at the end, and he tells his friend, he said, if I ever come back, this is so weird, I haven't thought about it in terms of this, but he said, if I ever come back, you'll know it's me because I'll blow your hat off. And he says, but I mean, it's Chicago, it's windy, how will I know it's you? And he says, I'll know, you'll know it's me. And my mom, she was talking about that, and she looked out and she said, she said, we need a sign for if I come back. And I said, okay. And she said, I'll come back to you and it will be a cardinal. And that was why, like, the red bird is always, like, so important to me. And she said, and also in snow, or it'll look like snow in spring because of the cotton trees, or whatever those trees are called. I can't remember what she said. And I said, okay. And for a long time, I wanted to get a cardinal feather tattooed to the back of my neck for my mom. And then years later, I said to my dad, this is why I was just thinking to myself, this is weird that I thought it that way. Because there have been moments when I've, like, literally looked out on my back porch, even filming videos, it's happened, when I look out there and there's literally, like, a perfect bird just sitting out there, like a perfect cardinal, just sitting there looking at me. And it's weird. Well, I said that to my dad one time. And my dad started laughing. He goes, well, you probably will be getting a lot of visits from your mom, or something like that. I can't remember how he said it, but he was like, because you know the state bird is the cardinal. And that cotton stuff in the spring here in Indianapolis, I mean, it's like, that's how we get the pollen. It's horrible. It's everywhere. So, I don't know. I guess my mom's always with me, but... Okay, so anyway, I was talking about how my mom is, like, always with me. It's weird because it's like, I ran out of other stuff. Oh, gotta just, let's see. It's weird because I don't even have that much, it's like gone. I think I have some more in here. I always keep this stuff, like tons of it. This is my lottery keychain that I got from the gas station the other night because Tanya told me to get one. It's to scratch your lottery tickets off. Look, did you know that? You can get this. It was free. But anyway, I guess I don't have any more of that stuff. Great. Then my hands are gonna be gross on my mom. I honestly would probably just, like, go into, like, Walmart or Meijer again and buy some more because my hands are so gross right now. Well, when in doubt, just use that condensation, and I have a paper towel right here. Or napkin. Yeah, it's weird. There are, like, days that, like, I come into the house, and it's like the house smells a little different. Like, it kind of smells like my mom. It reminds me of, like, her perfume. I don't know if anybody else ever has this, but it's just like a whiff, and, like, it'll be there for, like, a minute, and then it, like, goes away. And I'm always, like, whenever that happens, I know this is probably corny, but I'm always like, hey, Mom. I don't know if she's really there or not, but it's comforting. You know what's weird is, like, before my mom passed away, like, I've talked about this on here a lot, but, like, that I always had, like, real issues with death and stuff like that. And, I know I have another hand sanitizer in there. I can see it in my head. It's, like, clear with a red cap on it. But anyway, before my mom passed away, like, I had real issues with death, and I was really scared of it, things like that. And I can remember thinking to myself, like, oh, I wouldn't, like spirits and ghosts, and like if my mom ever came near me. Like, I have never once in 10 years that she's been gone, like, ever felt like that. Like, at any time that, like, even if I'm in the basement or anything, like, I've never once, like, thought, like, oh, my mom's gonna scare me. I mean, I've never, like, I don't know. Like, I know this is, like, a really strange conversation to have. But, like, if you believe in spirits and ghosts, and then your loved one passed away, it's like, you do think about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I really haven't, like, I've never once, like, ever thought, like, been afraid of that. Do you know what I mean? With my mom, associated with my mom. When you go through a close family member or friend passing away, it's like, I don't know, it changes your perspective of death. Like, you don't look at death the same way anymore. Like, I'm not ready to go, but it makes me look at it definitely more as a cycle. You know, like a life cycle instead of just, I don't know. You guys, I used to lay in bed back in the day and just be terrified. I'd be like, like, well, what if it's just, there's nothing, and then it's just the end of the end of the end, which it could be. But even if that's the case, like, I'm not too afraid of that today, because I'm like, well, how can I control that, And I can remember back in the day, here I am at Taco Bell, I'm not going through, I'm just like parking here for a second to see if I can find some hand sanitizer. But I can remember back in the day, like, friends of mine, we would like talk about death, and they'd be like, I'm just not afraid at all. And I'm like, I'm not saying that I'm not afraid, like, I'm not ready to go, like, I'm not there. But back in the day, I sure do have this reindeer nose from some video I did last year. But I remember back in the day, oh, yes, I knew it. It's not red though, it's not the one I thought it was. Is there another one in here? You guys want to see what this looks like? It used to go off and on, but I don't think it does anymore. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I love Christmas. Okay. Oh, come on, it won't turn off. Oh, sweet. You guys, it won't turn off. It just did. Okay, thank you. So this is hand sanitizer gel. Probably somebody sent this to me. Orange. But back in the day when friends of mine would say it, they would be like, oh, I'm not afraid to die at all. I'm like, you're not afraid to die? No. Like, what's there? And they would always say like this, oh, this is so not, oh, no, but it's too much. I put too much on it. Look, you guys, can you see? It's like, I have too much. I bet you I have the cleanest hands in the whole world. I've got the cleanest hands in the whole wide world. Okay, this is really nice. But now I literally feel like I have been eating oranges all night long. Oh, it's kind of like moisturizing and lotiony too. I'll tell you what the brand is in case you guys want to buy it. I can read it. The Honest Company hand sanitizer gel kills 99.9% of germs and bacteria. When I worked in treatment, you know what they taught us to do? When you wash your hands, you're supposed to sing happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. You sing it 3 times and then your hands are sanitized. And I was so weird back in the day. You can see, I use hand sanitizer all the time. I was so weird about washing my hands, and I never got sick back then. So I do believe that washing your hands helps you stay from being sick. But anyway, my friends would say like, yeah, I'd be like, aren't you afraid to die? And they'd be like, no. Like, I'd say, like, we would sit around and I would, like, talk, and we'd be like, when you have those deep intellectual conversations when you're young and you think you're bohemian and you know everything, and then you realize one day when you're older that those conversations were pointless, but they were kind of fun. That's the truth right there, okay? So anyway, we would sit around and I'd be like, well, what's your biggest fear? And they'd be like, success. And I'd be like, really? And they're like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, what if I'm successful? And then like, and I'm like, okay. And then they'd be like, what's your greatest fear? And I'd be like, sharks and death. I wasn't trying to be no intellectual. I was scared of sharks to death. I'm still scared to death of sharks. Oh my God. But anyway, but we would talk about death and I would say, like, aren't you afraid to die? And they'd say no. Like completely just like passe. You know, like, who, what? No, not me. And I'd be like, you're not afraid to die? And they'd be like, no, not at all. And I'd be like, wait a second. And they were like, well, I'm not ready to go, but like, if it's my time, it's my time. My dad very much has this attitude too, and so does Alex, and just like, I don't understand how they get there. I mean, I like don't really have a fear of dying today the way that I used to, but that could probably change real quick. So anyway, they would say like, no, like, what's to fear? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, what's to fear? And I'm like, well, what if it's just, there's nothing forever and ever and ever, and then this is it? They're like, okay, but you're not gonna know it, so why would it matter? And I'm like, but I don't like that. Ruled by 100 forms of fear is what our basic text tells us. But it did go away a little bit with my mom, and it definitely more with my aunt and my uncle too, you know, like, I don't know, it just does. You know, I used to go get a lot of psychic readings, and they would be like really, really on point about a lot of stuff. And maybe I was looking for a burning bush, I don't know. But I stopped going at some point because what happened was that these people claimed they were the best mediums in the entire world, and then there would be nothing specific. And I mean, one guy that I went to, this Dave guy, he was very, very specific. I did a whole video about him, but like after that, like, I mean, he wasn't so specific, like, this was your mother and this is what, you know, she passed away from, and blah, 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 whatever. I mean, it was nothing like that. It just was like, so, you know, anyway. But the reason that I like stopped going when people had asked me to go and stuff, and we're going to see Teresa Caputo, and I am excited about that. But like before that, like the reason why I stopped was, and people say she's a fraud. I know, you don't have to put it in my comment section. I already know. But the reason that I stopped was because like every time I would go, like they wouldn't get anything anywhere near the facts with people, and so I was like, this is fake, and it just made me, I think, to some degree, like, question any kind of afterlife, which I do strongly believe in an afterlife, but that made me question it, because I was like, well, there's these people out here that claim to, you know, have a direct line to the afterlife, and they're getting it wrong. Like, I'm not about all this, you know, and then it made me start becoming skeptical and questioning, but I don't know, that doesn't change my fear of death. Like, I mean, I can't do anything about it anyway, so it's like, why be afraid of it? And that's kind of my attitude, I don't know. My mom used to say to me, I used to ask her, I was like, you know, were you ever afraid to die? And she's like, yeah, when I was younger. And I said, when did it change? And she was like, when I got older. She's like, when you start having people that pass away in your life, she's like, you don't fear it the same way that you did. You realize it's just kind of part of life. And I think that's true. So anyway, how long? Oh my God, I went for another 10 minutes. I'm gonna, what is this napkin? I'm gonna get off here now. 24 and 24 is, I ain't got my glasses on, I can't do math. About 48 minutes, and then another 10 is like 50. Oh, so I almost went almost exactly like an hour. It's like a TV show. It's like a documentary. It's the Peter Monn show. So anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog tonight, and I hope you guys are enjoying your week so far. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.